Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Consciously Awesome Facebook Live. Today, I will be interviewing my very first guest, Sheila Applegate, who is a transformational coach, founder of Counterpoint Creative Consulting, author of Enchanted One, The Portal to Love, and also the founder and creator of the Consciously Awesome program. Thank you for being with me, Sheila. Welcome.
You're welcome. It's great to be here. Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome. So today we're going to have a conversation about the Consciously Awesome 12-step program, which you say is a culmination of your 20 plus years of teaching higher consciousness. So first, it's probably a good idea to tell us a bit about your spiritual journey and leading up to the program.
So I began working as a clinical therapist right out of college, just out of my master's degree for social work. I took on a job, and my supervisor actually introduced me to a metaphysical Christian church. And I immediately immersed myself in training, where I eventually became an ordained minister. But I learned guided meditation, energetic healing. I was a Reiki master by the late 90s, which is kind of cutting edge back then. And so as I was working as a clinical therapist, I felt that I was being restricted because I had all these gifts. And I was fortunate enough that I could use the meditations in my sessions and do some work. But at the same time, I was learning prophecy and how to do readings and communicate with spirit. So there was so much more to be offered to the world. So in early 2000s, turn of the century, I just want to say that because we can, right? At the turn of the century, I jumped off of the mainstream world and I began teaching. And so since then, for the past 17 years, I've been teaching guided meditation. I've been giving readings, doing energetic healing. I wrote a book, and became known for channeling the divine goddess energy as well.
Very cool. So how does the Consciously Awesome 12-step program differ from all these years of your teaching?
So a few years ago, I had a sort of introspective moment. I had connected with Zach, who is the co-founder, and that amplified our ability to reach people and to work together, and my own abilities. And at the same time, the whole time I was teaching, I was very dedicated to two things. One was my own personal growth, because I wanted to become the best human possible, reflecting God's energy on earth. And I wanted to teach my students, my clients, my friends that as I took the journey. So I was always dedicated to that. But I reached a point where I really was fully integrated and living in conscious oneness and enjoying the skills that I had learned throughout the years. And two things happened. I wanted everyone to be able to live that way, but I also wanted the freedom to move and just be a creator from that space. Some people think that being a healer or being a reader is the ultimate goal.
Right. Yep.
I think that should be our foundation.
Yep.
I think we should start there and then create millions of wonderful things. So that led me to creating this program, and I don't think I ever thought that I could. I think that I was teaching people many of these skills, but on a one-on-one basis. In some groups, I was bringing a lot of spiritual messages in, but I was still in process of learning the techniques. There was no roadmap for me on how to live consciously, really. Right. I did this on my own journey. So I finally realized that I could bring it all together and teach the technique, not to know everything I know, but how to access all knowledge, to get your own insight, to be able to live from that in every moment. So Consciously Awesome was developed from that, where it's not teaching more and more information, because there's infinite amount of information that we could bring in, but it teaches the technique for people to live in that in every moment.
That's very cool. Yeah. So there are so many courses and teachings available online. What makes the Consciously Awesome 12-step program different?
Well, I think what I was just saying is one of the things that makes it different, in that we're focused on technique. We're not focused on teaching you a way of living. It is a way of living, but it's teaching you the techniques to live the way you want to live. It teaches you the techniques to access your own divinity, to communicate with spirit, but to navigate relationships. It's making better humans. A lot of the courses are about becoming more spiritual, sort of going up to higher realms. This is about bringing the higher realms down into the human and learning how to apply it to everything that you do.
Sure.
So that's definitely different. And it's one of the only courses that has the online course that you're learning from me directly with lots of conscious meditations, which we'll talk about in a bit, I'm sure. But also you get the one-on-one, you have an ambassador, you have somebody highly trained going through every moment with you so that you don't have to figure out how to apply it to your life. You've got someone that knows how to help you apply it to your life right there with one-on-one work.
Yeah, exactly. So you talk about the teachings of how to be better human beings rather than spirits. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, like I was saying, I think what I learned is so much of what we do is trying to be more spiritual, in the communities of people seeking that. It's like how, and in doing that, maybe we suppress our emotion. We push aside our ego. We're trying to just be these incredible souls on earth, and we're forgetting that being on earth and being human is a gift in itself.
Yeah.
And so this program, especially the conscious meditation, which I realized I developed a new meditation technique that is able to integrate this teaching into every moment. And so it's not like, so if you and I had an argument, not that we would, in the old way of teaching, even if we were both working spiritually, we'd have our little disagreement and we'd both go and maybe meditate or pray, come to a different conclusion, and then we come back and we try to sort it out and come to an agreement from a different level, hoping that we could draw on that feeling we got in our meditation. With this program, we can access those levels on the spot, whether we're both doing it or just the one person. So we can draw from our experience in the moment. And I don't know if you had that experience, but everything changes when you can do that.
It does.
Whether it's your work colleagues, your bosses, your children, just to be able to, on the spot, be in the moment and in your higher consciousness at the same time.
It's amazing. It's an amazing concept,
Right.
when you're able to do that. And it makes things so much easier and smooth, when you don't get into that space of that animosity and, trying to figure out how to rectify the problem or whatever the issue.
Right.
So at least right there, it's hands-on, it's right there, you're taking care of it. So that's a really interesting approach, to be able to do that. So, in my experience with the 12-step program, at the time I had been building my business, my spiritual business, and I was working a long-time job for many years, and I was at the point where I was ready to jump from the job and really do my spiritual work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was struggling because of old beliefs and so on and so forth. I have to get to the end, and it's very hard when you're in that space, that mind space.
Right.
So, I was approached by one of our other ambassadors, Sheila Applegate, about taking the program. And so we had a meeting, we talked on the phone, and she did a conscious meditation with me. And it was like, wow, I think I'm going to take the course. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take it. It was from that meditation that really spoke to me about, we need to do this to move forward.
Right.
So I did take the course, and it was amazing. All the different lessons every week, dealing with your ego, your beliefs. A lot of my own belief systems were holding me back. So, once I got through the program, it really turned my life around 360. So I was able to move forward, be in consciousness, in the present moment. It was a wonderful experience for me. So I really enjoyed taking the course, and I would recommend it to anybody. But as an ambassador, I've undergone extensive training with you for nearly a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the depth of your training, but there might be some people who know you and trust you who prefer to work with you directly. I can't blame them, but I had a great experience. But who might be doubting the ambassadors having the skill to facilitate the program at the level that you do. So can you speak about the training and even the trust that you put into your certified ambassadors?
Absolutely. you know, if you know me, you know how dedicated I am to my work, and you probably know how dedicated I am to my children. So why don't I say it by this? This is one of my babies, right? This is my child. This is everything. It's my heart and soul. The lessons are from me. They're written, they're audio. You get extensive number of recorded conscious meditations, but my ambassadors are people that I trust completely with my teachings, my work. You know me and my subtleties, right? The little nuances that I notice that other people don't are what makes everything different. So I'm working with, pushing hard sometimes, right? With ambassadors to embody the teachings completely, to live from that. The thing is, once I know you're 100% living from that state, I have confidence in you because the techniques work. So you're accessing. So now you can access my spirit, you can access all the other spirits in those moments, and you go with a whole team, just like I do. But I spend one-on-one time, 6 months to a year. Really, there's a year's worth of training, and I'm right there in every program. We're a team, we're a family. I love you guys all. You're my family now. So we meet all the time. You have access to me. So even if you did run into something with a client that you hadn't experienced before, they're really getting me as well, because you're right there to talk and to go through it. And I usually do a surprise visit into every program and do a live question and answer call. So I'm right there in this all the time. The reason that I don't do the teaching myself is because we need to reach the world now. It's time. And I keep thinking of that metaphor where the little boy is throwing the starfish in and they say, but you're not going to make a difference. And he says, but I am to that one. And that's amazing. Yeah. But right now we need a lot of starfishes going into the ocean. Yeah. So I am working individually with a very few people who are highly motivated and really impacting at the level. And I spend a lot of my time training you, the ambassadors, so that we can get this program out to as many people as possible. And everyone can, I can't wait till everyone lives from this place of being, whether they take a different road to it or this road. Man, the world's going to be amazing.
It's definitely the way to go. So I recommend it. So when I made the decision after taking the 12-week course, I wanted to give the gift to others that was given to me with this program. So I approached you about taking the ambassador course, and we had dialogue about it. Felt that I was a good fit, and I went through the program, and it's been phenomenal. As Sheila said, we're all a family. I call us a spiritual family. You know, we're all here, we got each other's backs, and we're helping each other, and it's just definitely a family team. We're all there to help each other. And the experience of this training has been phenomenal. It's even pushed me further. Mm-hmm. And the confidence level and just, reliving all of the course, because we go through that again in the program. And it's just been a phenomenal experience. I would highly recommend anyone to do that. So, so that's my perspective of the ambassador program.
Yeah, it's quite the journey, and every ambassador is different and unique. So my teaching changes with I'm learning more as I teach, because I kind of did it and then I realized more. So even the conscious meditation, when I put it out there, I didn't really even realize I had created a unique technique. So the really fun part for me about having ambassadors, training you, and getting this program out to the world that is technique based is that I just intuitively kind of moved through life. I had the intuition pretty high. That was just something I was born with, but we all have it. Mm-hmm. And so by teaching this course and by teaching ambassadors to facilitate it, I'm understanding the technique more. So the program has even become more than when I first created it, because I put all the meditations into the program, and then I realized, oh, well, conscious meditation is actually when you're one-on-one with someone, and it's like a hybrid between hypnotherapy and guided meditation. So now I take each ambassador and I have to look at your own unique gifts. And some people get a little stuck on one section, and some people breeze through that, and then they get a little hung up on something else. And so I'm learning more about how I got here and more about how to teach people, even when I teach you.
Things are evolving more.
Yeah, so the program, it's still the same content, but it's so layered. And as we teach and learn it more, it's I think about when I first ran it, because the first time I did it. I ran it as I was writing it. And it's even more than that, with each ambassador teaching it, because I understand what I was doing more when I created it now than when I actually created it.
We all have our own gifts too.
And that's it too.
Throw them all on the table, and it just meshes. It just all
and
works.
with all the different personalities and perspectives, because not everybody's going to like me. I don't understand why.
Well, that's just,
right, they don't.
we move on.
Exactly. So, by bringing in a different, or maybe, something that I haven't experienced in life is, even though I can access spirit, maybe I don't have the deep insight that you have about something. So someone who's drawn to you to learn these techniques is going to get not only the whole content, but your gifts and your life experience as well as mine. So I just think it takes it deeper.
Well, as you spoke about, not everybody likes you. We all have different personalities. So, various people who see us might connect with me versus you or another ambassador. So, and that's okay.
Right.
And that's okay to do that. So, when we talk about the conscious meditations, can you just briefly talk a little bit about how that works, about the conscious meditation?
Yeah, it's really quite an intricate technique that I realized, as I said, as I was training. But basically, I've been doing guided meditations since the 90s and teaching them. And so because I didn't memorize them, I let spirit talk through me, and everyone, they evolve and they grow, and they've always kind of gone around the group of the people that were involved, because it's always flowing. But as I grew and I started moving through and understanding things, and the meditations were growing, there were a few key things that I noticed. One is that in traditional, even guided meditation, transcendental meditation, a lot of different techniques, we're kind of leaving the body. And we all love that experience. Woo, we're floating, we're up there, it feels wonderful. And then we kind of get slammed back into the body, and it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta go through life. And so I realized, well, what if we fill in the space in between up here and down here? So instead of leaving our body, we're learning to bring all that energy into our body, integrate it into the moment. And we're learning to navigate that with our eyes open. In individual sessions, you're dialoguing during that, which is reprogramming the brain to allow you to access those frequencies when we're talking, like we said, to help with relationships in the moment. And so there's the process of learning the flow of what I call the whole vortex, from conscious oneness all the way to the cells of our body, and integrating that. And then there's the individual journey of learning how to see. Some people say, oh, I don't see, in meditation. And I say that's not true. You just need to redefine your belief about seeing. And so the ambassadors are trained to draw that out in one-on-one sessions. Conscious meditation, I say it's a hybrid of hypnotherapy, because you have your kind of marker points that you're reaching, but it's interactive between the client. You're teaching the client to receive, to expand on their visions, to learn how they see, to learn how they hear, to communicate, and to actually be able to talk during it. And then as a facilitator, you're navigating that path with them based on your connection to spirit. And I call it holding space. I'm teaching you how to, until they learn that space, you actually gift it to them. You're holding it for them so they can experience it, and then they move to the next level with you.
It's a beautiful experience, doing that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part as well. So, but yeah, I can be having a program coming up. So,
You do have a program coming up,
yeah, I do.
and you're open for recipients,
I
right?
I am. That's correct. So I will leave a link more about this in the comments. Sheila, can you explain what a virtual cup of coffee is and why you chose to do this as the first step of exploring the consciously awesome?
Yeah, so when you go to Todd's comments and you go to his page that tells all about the program, you're going to be invited to have a virtual cup of coffee. That's me. That's my language. It could be tea, but I like coffee. So the reason I chose this is because this is a personal program. We want you to be successful. We want you to feel good when you jump in. We want you to know your ambassador, feel good about your ambassador. So it isn't your typical sign up and then get a sales call. It's literally you sign up and Todd and the other ambassadors, in this case, Todd's program is coming up. So it would be with Todd and you would have dialogue. He sets aside part of his week just for free breakthrough sessions with you. So you come in, you say, this is where I am. The program seems intriguing. I don't know if it's a good fit. And he actually kind of gives you a mini session of what you're going to expect during the process. And it's individualized. So maybe you get a little mini meditation that day. Maybe you're saying, I really want to do this. This is what's going on in my life. And he draws from the program and he gives you some insights that you could leave that day and you'd be feeling better. That's our goal with a virtual cup of coffee. You have a cup of coffee with an ambassador. And if you leave and never come back, you're better for it. But if it feels like a good fit and you want more information, then that's where Todd can answer your questions. He can tell you more about the program. We just felt that when it's not, we want you to know it isn't just like all the other courses you sign up online. We want you to have that personal connection before it even gets started. You know a little bit about each other. You'll be put in a group with other participants and get to know each other there. We have a whole family, not just of ambassadors, but we've got our society of consciously awesome people.
Yep, so go over to that page and like it, and you'll be involved in all of what's going on there. So
yes.
Also like the Consciously Awesome public page as well.
Absolutely.
So,
and just sign up for a little virtual cup of coffee with Todd and get to know him, ask follow-up questions on this, and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, if you have any comments, please put them in the comment section of this live. Thank you, Sheila, for meeting with me today and having this little conversation. I really enjoyed it. Again, I will put the information, the link in the comment section. So take a look for that. And we hope to hear from you. So have a great day. Bye.
Bye.